Aaron Rodgers Trade Destinations coming at you here on NFL Daily. I'm Mitchell Rands. 8 feet away from me is Tom Downey. On today's show, we are going to break down the latest news and rumors around Rodgers and tell you where he could potentially be going in 2021. Okay, Tom, talk to me about the latest around Rodgers.
Yeah, setting the scene here, if you will. Rodgers is not the Packers' future anymore. If we still have Packers fans claiming that's the case, I am sorry. I think it should have been the Packers' plan.
Yep.
The second they moved up in round one to draft Jordan Love was a flashing strobe light sign saying, he's the future. No longer is Aaron Rodgers that guy. Now, where things get tricky for Rodgers is the contract side of it, in both a trade, release, whatever path they want to go.
Yep.
A trade this season, this before the trade deadline, this offseason, whatever you want to call it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The number to keep in mind are the bottom two. You've got the current cost, the dead cap this year and next, but you save $2 million and some change this year and sub $4.8 million in 2021. That's not worth it for me. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Now, if they wait a year, have the entire year of Rodgers as their starting quarterback, the cost next year does jump up significantly, $36 million, a big-time figure. The dead cap is significant in 2021, 31.5. Yep. But you free up almost 40 in 2022 by cutting or trading him. Now, what might make the most sense for Green Bay, if they can pull it off, is a post-June 1st trade. That's just a contract and salary cap quirk in the NFL that allows a team to space that dead money that was due, because it all gets started up if you cut or trade a player in terms of signing bonus stuff.
Yep.
Over 2021 and over 2022. So you save more money in 2021, you just have a bigger dead cap hit in that next season. There is a roster bonus due, which Rodgers could probably agree to push off to help facilitate a trade to his preferred destination. In the end, I don't see any way in which Rodgers is happy right now with what the Packers did.
But that's why we made this video, because we think that he's end up going to get traded in 2021. And if you're another NFL team and you're saying, wait a minute, I could potentially get Rodgers for 3 years, $73 million.
That's intriguing.
That's very intriguing.
Especially for what the general expectation has been before all this chaos in terms of the Big C, of a rising salary cap.
Yep.
Where the quarterback contracts are going to continue to grow because the overall money continues to grow. Having a player on a multi-year deal at a very, to be honest, team-friendly price, despite Rodgers getting significantly older, is very attractive to potentially multiple NFL teams. So I think there would be a trade market for Rodgers, even if you'd have to do something weird with that June 1st trade deadline.
So before we dive into our top teams that could go out and trade for Aaron Rodgers in 2021, how many more years will he play for the Packers? 1, 2, 3? If you want to type 0, go ahead and do that in the comments section below. The number 7 team for Aaron Rodgers, the Dallas Cowboys. And it only makes sense if Dak isn't extended.
So we'll know if this makes any sense in 2 months when the franchise tag deadline for an extension comes and goes for the Cowboys and for Dak Prescott. I also still have some doubts about it, namely because, look, the Rodgers-McCarthy era didn't end that well in Green Bay.
Exactly.
Maybe it was overblown, maybe it wasn't. Only one way to know for certain if the Cowboys don't have an extended Dak Prescott and Rodgers wants to come back and play with McCarthy. I don't know if it makes the most sense.
Pretty good offense.
But I'll tell you what, if this does happen, I guaranteed it would be rumored out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the Cowboys, and they're linked to every single big-name player ever. Because agents are smart, and they go, well, just leak the Cowboys are interested, because that will then generate more interest potentially.
Right, but I think when you look at Dak Prescott and you look at Aaron Rodgers, we have the stats here for the past 2 seasons. They are actually pretty remarkably close.
It's very close.
And the other stat that you don't have on here is rushing, which I do think actually should be put into it, which favors Dak.
I wanted to focus on the passing, but yes,
Sure.
It would significantly favor Dak Prescott in terms of the yards and the touchdowns there. That is pretty darn close. The completion percentage higher for Dak Prescott. The interceptions, of course, much lower for Rodgers because the dude never throws interceptions. Like, almost the times, I think some would argue, too safe in terms of his decision-making. And you got to factor in Dak at his age on the upswing. Yep. Rodgers at his age, in reality, is about to hit some kind of decline.
And I mean, I honestly don't know if Aaron Rodgers has ever had a receiving, core like a CeeDee Lamb, like an Amari Cooper, like a Michael Gallup. It would be really fun to watch.
Prime. The Packers have some pretty good receivers, man.
Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, sure. But I'm saying, like, a core of that 3, I'm not sure.
It's impressive.
All right, let's move on now to the number 6 team here, the Washington Redskins, because Dwayne Haskins, he is going to get his chance. I'm not really all that confident in him. And if the Redskins struggle, I mean, we've seen Snyder do some crazy things.
Yeah, he could get aggressive. You will see a bias towards AFC teams in this video because I don't think the Packers want to trade him to the NFC.
I mean, it's
also
been reported.
You can pretty much cross off every NFC North team, regardless of who their quarterback is. Like, the Bears would love to get him. They ain't going to do that. Ain't no way. So, but the Redskins could be a team Green Bay says sure because they might not respect the Redskins and think Rodgers could be a legitimate playoff threat to them.
Yep.
If Haskins shows promise this year, cross them off the list. If it's more of the same, they might move up even higher here.
And I mean, if you're a Washington team that thinks like, okay, maybe we have a few pieces in line, and if we want to be able to compete with Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, sure, maybe go out and get an Aaron Rodgers. Let's go now to the number 5 team here on our list for Aaron Rodgers Trade Destinations. It's the San Francisco 49ers, and honestly, I'm surprised you don't have them higher.
It's the NFC thing.
Okay.
That, like, if this were destinations of trade or release, they would be number 2. But because this is trade, not released, would the Packers really trade him to the 49ers?
A team that just whooped you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing they're going to try to do. Now, it makes a lot of sense for San Francisco, but only if Jimmy Garoppolo regresses or the Niners have a down year and Jimmy G gets blamed for it. I think it would be an upgrade in the short term at the quarterback spot. Obviously, Rodgers' age has to be considered in this.
Absolutely.
Especially as you move forward when you're building a franchise. So even with that in mind, you take your 3-year shot, right?
Yep.
You have Rodgers for 3 years. You try and win right then and there. Whatever it costs to trade for him might be worth it. I think Shanahan and Rodgers could thrive together, man.
That'd be
a dynamic duo.
Very fun to watch. Now, I know 49ers fans, they've stuck behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's nothing against Garoppolo, but I want you to pick a quarterback. So give me a J for Jimmy or give me an A for Aaron Rodgers. I understand they went to the Super Bowl last year with Jimmy G, but I mean, come on. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to type my A.
Me too.
Let's go now to the New England Patriots at number 4, and quarterback name insert here. It's pretty simple.
Very important question for you.
Okay.
Is this unfair? Because it kind of borders on it, right?
I think it's only unfair if the Patriots can put together some semblance of an offense this year, because I don't
they're
think
going to have upwards of like $90 million next year in terms of cap space.
they're going to have a lot, but
Throw money at receivers.
if they don't invest in that offense, I don't really care who it is at quarterback. Maybe the only guy would be like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. But if you don't put some offensive weapons there, I don't care who you have, Aaron Rodgers,
And
Tom Brady,
I think that's very true pretty much across the NFL, and especially true when, in reality, you do have an older quarterback taking the helm. Now, Rodgers still makes some incredible throws, but you have to kind of built in a little bit of regression of like, yeah, he's older. You can't assume he's going to be the same guy he was exactly in his prime. But for what I think they're going to get out of Jarrett Stidham, even with Rodgers in his late 30s, I think that'd be a significant upgrade.
Yep. And I actually am going to go with the New England Patriots here for this next question. What team needs Aaron Rodgers the absolute most?
Good pick for the Patriots. The Jags.
Oh, my. But
who I didn't include on here because I don't really think Rodgers would want to go there, and I think they're going to be drafting high enough to just take somebody early.
LSU fan goes the Jags as well. Somebody said the Cowboys. Sure, the Jags might need the quarterback the most, but I think in terms of like continued success,
okay, that's fair.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots, but continue to let us know in the comment section. Some people might argue that the Chicago Bears need them the most. How about this?
That's actually a good one. That's probably true, actually.
You know what y'all
I'm
need,
changing my
though?
vote.
Chatsports.com/stay safe. You can get 3 face masks for only $24.99. Listen, I don't really like wearing them, but if this is what I got to do to be able to watch football games and go to football games and tailgate to have a good time, I'm going to do it. And if my part in society is to wear a face mask, I'm going to do it. So go to chatsports.com/stay safe. Make sure you're all washing your hands. Make sure you're covering your mouth. And make sure you're always repping your team. You can do that at the link below.
I want the sports to come back sooner than later, so let's just all be smart. It shouldn't be that hard, right?
I mean, I love Chat Sports, but without sports, the name Chat, it's just not quite the same. So come on, help us out. Chatsports.com/stay safe. Let's go to the number 3 team here on the list, the Denver Broncos. And this one makes too much sense.
This is, it does, but it also doesn't.
Well, Drew Lock doesn't play well. Drew Lock plays well.
The only way you go after Rodgers if you're Denver is if Drew Lock doesn't play well.
Correct.
And if Drew Lock doesn't play well, and he's clearly not the guy, does John Elway get to pick another quarterback?
I mean, he's the GM.
But is he the GM at that point?
I think he will be.
Yeah, president, whatever. So in terms of he's the decision maker
Yes.
for the Broncos. So does he get to? I'm not convinced that he does.
See, I do,
because that means he'll have missed on all of his quarterbacks, not named Peyton Manning, which was a no-brainer.
But then his argument would be, well, I hit with Peyton Manning. I won a Super Bowl going out and getting the guy that I wanted.
Exactly.
So maybe I can do the exact same thing with Rodgers because you invested in Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. They have Noah Fant. They have a pretty solid offense. The defense is there as well. I think this is a primetime team that you're like, listen, I need a quarterback. Go get me Aaron Rodgers. I can make a Super Bowl run. And, you know, I would admit it. The Broncos would be, I think, a legit contender then with Aaron Rodgers.
Sure. I think that defense would be great. They just drafted a bunch of playmakers on offense as well. So I'm very intrigued by it, but it's kind of a tricky little situation for Denver where if they're really bad, Elway might get canned. If they're very good, why would you move on from Lock at that point?
Touche. So is Drew Lock the future for the Denver Broncos? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Tom, I personally am going to type my N for no. I think Drew Lock is a good quarterback, but to say that he's the future and really going to help them, I'm personally going to say no.
They put all their eggs into let's see what Drew Lock can do this year basket. So for Denver fans, I'm going to try and speak some positive existence here. I'm going to go with the opposite of you, and I'm going to say yes because they need it to work out.
Okay, it's time to get in now to our top two teams for Aaron Rodgers. The Indianapolis Colts, they got Phillip Rivers, but he's only on a one-year deal, $25 million, is aging. Jacob Eason, he's got the arm talent, but I'm not quite sure if he's the answer. And for Indy, for the first time, they have actually been pretty aggressive.
Yeah, they kind of had a change of plan, a change of course, if you will, for what they've been doing as of late, a little more patient build. This year it was trade our first-round pick, go up and sign an aging quarterback. Rivers, I am not convinced is going to be there beyond this year, and that's what his contract says. That's what the Colts have kind of indicated as well. I think they're in a position where even if Rivers has success, it was only a one-year, $25 million deal. He might retire. The Colts might choose to not re-sign him, thus allowing them to pursue Aaron Rodgers instead. And yeah, you took Jacob Eason in the fourth-round pick. I don't think Eason prevents you from adding Rodgers.
And if I'm Jacob Eason, I'm saying, wait a minute, I can learn behind an Aaron Rodgers, a guy who, I think Aaron Rodgers is much different when they first came out of college, but if one thing Rodgers does have is an arm that not many people have. If there is one benefit that Jacob Eason does have that not many people have,
big arm.
It is the arm. So if I can learn behind Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks, to play ever, guess what? I'd probably be willing to do it. So I want you to fill in the blank here, okay? Aaron Rodgers will play for blank in 2021. So this video is all around the potential of Rodgers getting traded in 2021. So let us know in the comments, where will Aaron Rodgers play in 2021? The number one team for Aaron Rodgers in 2021, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think this makes so much sense, Mitch.
Yeah.
Like, you move on from Derek Carr. You really don't pay much more in terms of contract. I think even factoring in the dead money of 1 year for Carr, it's like $5 million.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really pay that much more. $5 million is a drop in the bucket when you're talking about a $200+ million salary cap in theory in 2021. If you can trade him and get anything back, and it's even a better move there. Gruden prefers those vet quarterbacks, and if Derek Carr is not your guy, it's not like there's a young guy developing right now in Vegas that makes sense.
I think that's the answer. When you go out and draft Henry Ruggs, Lynn Bowden, Brian Edwards, 3 receivers with your top 4 picks, you're investing in the quarterback position. Derek Carr is scheduled to make about $21.5 million in 2021. If you cut him, it's only going to cost you $2.5. So basically what you said there, am I going to pay Aaron Rodgers $22 million? Or am I going to pay Derek Carr basically like $21.5 million? Sure, you got to cut him. It's very, very little bit of money. Aaron Rodgers.
It's a no-brainer for me, frankly.
If Derek Carr is not your answer, then yes, this is a no-brainer. It's just we're going to have to still wait and see. But to say that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Derek Carr, it's not a shot at Carr. It's just Aaron Rodgers is really freaking good.